Hi guys, it's a bit early for Fool of the Week, but a candidate for sure is Michael Tomlinson, the illegal migration minister. So he appeared in Sky News following the vote in Parliament on Monday, which finally saw Rishi Sunak's flagship policy, the one that is more important than dealing with the cost of living crisis or the NHS, the Rwanda bill, pass through both chambers. Michael was asked here about what happens next, in particular the issue of housing asylum seekers in Rwanda. And after trying to suggest that the houses were being sold off is a lie, he agreed that the houses are being sold off. These, of course, are houses that had been set aside for people arriving from the UK. What a mess. Have a listen.
What about the houses that were supposed to be in Kigali ready for people who were being deported from the UK? They've been sold.
Well, I'm afraid there's been a little bit of misreporting about that. And
OK, so clarify it for me, please.
Well, thank you, and that's what I'm doing. There are houses that are there. It's an uncapped scheme. Rwanda's a very welcoming country, and it is there. It is ready to take. It's already housing 135,000 migrants there already. It's an incredibly welcoming country.
Some of those houses have been sold off. Is that not right?
There are houses that are there. Already.
Have some of them been sold off?
There are houses that are there, that are in place,
have
ready
some been sold
for...
off or not?
Of course houses have been sold, that is right.
Then why didn't you say that at the beginning? Why was there this tap dance? Why did you avoid answering the question and start talking about how it's a wonderful place, how it's uncapped? It's not uncapped. The Rwandan government has said that they will only take a limited number. So obviously you're lying once again. But notice he couldn't answer the question at the beginning. He could have easily have said, yes, some properties have been sold off, but that's not a concern for us because we have ample stock available. But no, he tried to avoid the question, and eventually he had to answer the question.
Right, but it's mixed housing. No, it's mixed housing. These aren't ghettos where people are going to be put in Rwanda. It's mixed housing, part of the policy for Rwanda to welcome refugees. I think what we haven't heard enough of is the
Riverside
welcoming
estate was
country
set
that
up
Rwanda
for
is.
these people that were coming from the UK. It's been delayed so much that as a result, some of those houses have now been sold off to local people.
Well,
is that right or not?
That is right.
Okay.
It was always inevitably going to be that way because it was for mixed housing. It wasn't just for refugee housing, and that's a really important point.
Okay, I've said this before and I'll have to say it again. This is all tactical. There is no plan. When Rishi Sunak said, I'm going to stop the boats, he didn't actually believe he was going to stop the boats. I don't think Rishi Sunak is that stupid. He knew he couldn't achieve that. But what was he doing? Why did he say that? And this is something I think some people don't seem to understand, or maybe I'm getting the wrong end of the stick here. There isn't a plan because it's all tactical. It's about convincing a small section of society or a section of Rishi Sunak's party that he's doing something that they like. And he's doing it for today or this week or this month. That's all it's about. There is no long-term strategy. It's all tactics. You know, if you go back to 2019, 2018, when Theresa May was in charge, she was battling with the ERG. And almost on a daily basis, she was coming up with tactics to try and keep the ERG on board. Some of them failed, some of them succeeded. But what was her goal? Well, I want to remain Prime Minister. And Rishi Sunak is doing exactly the same thing. Boris Johnson was doing pretty much the same thing as well. What can I do today or this week to keep the party happy or a part of the party happy or a part of society happy? There is no long-term strategy. And you don't have to apply it just to immigration. It can be applied to the NHS. It can be applied to education, infrastructure, the cost of living crisis. They don't actually have a plan. They're not actually interested in fixing things. It's about tactics. It's what can I throw against the wall and hope that will stick today to convince people that I'm actually doing something. Because Rishi Sunak knows he can't stop the boats. But he knows that this slogan is enough to keep some people happy. Crazy people in his party or crazy people in society. And when that falls flat, when it falls apart, then just come up with another tactic, another slogan, another gimmick. That's what it's all about. And this is detrimental to society and detrimental to resolving problems. For example, when it came to homelessness, did they actually have a plan to move homeless people into accommodation, allow them to rebuild their lives? Or did they just have a gimmick? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to throw them in jail and we're going to fine them £2,500 if they smell. See, they don't actually have plans. They don't actually have strategies. So when people say, why did Rishi Sunak come up with this plan? You hear commentators all the time saying, why did he come up with this plan? There isn't a plan. It's just about a tactic to keep a small section of society happy or a part of his party happy for about 10 minutes. And when it fails, move on to the next one. I keep saying Rishi Sunak wants to be Prime Minister, and if he had his way, he would hold the election in January next year. He probably won't be able to do that. And this latest strategy, well, not strategy, plan or tactic, whatever you want to call it, is what we're going to... He said it on Monday. We have planes ready, we have an airfield ready, we have staff ready, we have judges ready, we have courts ready. This is all a lie. I don't believe for a second he has any of these things ready. This is about convincing his party or part of his party that he has all these things ready so that they won't kick him out. Then when it all falls apart, he'll just blame somebody else and then move on to the next tactic. It's about remaining in position, remaining in power. It's not actually about resolving problems. Because as we know, if he cared about resolving the issue of the small boats, he would agree with France to set up a processing centre. He would create safe routes to avoid people coming in. But that would actually require him doing some heavy lifting. It would require investing in things. It would require political capital. It would require him facing down his party. But instead, he's more interested in these tactics, these slogans, these gimmicks. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.